Are we? Amazing. Are we on?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh my god! Woo! Crowd goes wild. Welcome to the Anasimone Show. It is a podcast with me, Anasimone, and today my guest Bryan Rosen.
Hey!
I feel like I'm hosting Shade because I was so loud right now. Is this loud for you?
You good?
Okay, amazing. Welcome to my show. This is a show where I talk about anything and everything, almost everything, mainly about my bodily functions, stuff that's happening today, snacks that I like, and I took 2 naps today. So that was that's all about me.
I took a nap on the subway over here and then woke up and I had gotten stations too far.
Oh,
so
no.
then I was like, yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
That's true. But it was a good nap, so at least it was like one of those old man naps where it's like someone who's falling asleep on the subway, and I guess people were probably like, just leave him be. Yeah.
Well, you also got here early, so I don't know how you managed to not miss your stop and get here early.
Yeah, I guess, this was a very nappy, I wasn't even, I didn't even have any work to call in sick to today. I am off work today, yeah.
Wow, I am so jealous. I still worked from home, despite calling in sick. I'm very ill.
Do your coworkers watch this podcast?
Probably. And they're gonna be like, she doesn't look sick, and I'll be like, you should see my toilet. Anyways, no, you should.
But no, that's all very on brand for me.
It is. I brought Dan onto the show because he has a show coming up called
Game of Crohn's.
Woo!
I don't know. So I don't know. For people who don't know, Crohn's disease is a bowel. Speaking of bodily functions, it's a inflammatory bowel disease, and I've had it for 21 years now, and it's been a lot of going to the bathroom, some surgeries here and there and stuff. Stuff at the time is really frustrating and annoying and horrible, but if you distance yourself, objectively very funny. Enemas going wrong, very funny. All kinds of stuff like that. So, yeah.
So what's going down in the show? What's it like?
So I mean, it's we're still developing it with my director, Allison Lauder, who is someone who has celiac, which is another sort of bowel bodily function type disease. So she really knows, so that was a big part of because she really knew sort of that kind of angle. But also, stuff like that. One story that I love always telling is about when the first time I had an enema, and it was before my first abdominal surgery, and I had these 2 IV machines, and it was very, sort of getting one around one side of the bed and then the other around the other side of the bed, and as I was walking to the toilet where you're supposed to let out the enema, the one IV machine got stuck on the bedpost. And it's one of those things that, if I was relaxed and calm, I'd just be like, all right, here we go. But then I start panicking, shit, that kind of thing. And then, it's reaching for it, and then just, the whole dam burst. Right as my mom walked in, too. It was really awful. And my mom's a doctor, so at least she can be clinical about it. But it was, this really, awkward thing of, her seeing her, 16-year-old son with this big puddle in between his feet, right before he's about to go under the knife. Yeah.
Bless your mom.
Yeah,
bless you for your journey.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome. I don't have Crohn's. I don't think I do. I just go to the bathroom a lot, which is why I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks. We can talk about the bathroom as much as you want.
Honestly, I'm just lactose intolerant but love dairy, so I'm doing this to myself.
Yeah, it's tough to there's the thing is because it's sort of always, especially when you're a kid, and I don't know if you grew up with Halloween being a big thing for you, but yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess for any kid. And for me, then finding out halfway through my Halloween years that oh, by the way, this is all poison for you. You're no, it's not. It can't be. Yeah.
So what is Crohn's? Just I don't know.
Yeah. So it's an you'll have inflammation in your intestine. But there's other stuff hemorrhoids and anal fissures and stuff. I'm actually looking into see if I can get Preparation H or someone like that to sponsor the show.
That's amazing.
Which I think would be really fun. But it's one of those things where it's also an immunosuppressant disease. So part of the problem is the immune system the inflammation can come from the immune system attacking itself or sort of working I guess in the wrong way, so to speak. Yeah.
And you're saying how Halloween was basically just danger.
Yeah.
So does Crohn's limit your diet?
Yeah, and like it's like recently in the last few years, and I've been like, all right, I'll start following my diet better. But like, there's times where I'm like, oh, like I just want to eat like 2 dozen wings, and like like what, like while like watching sports at a sports bar with friends, where like, oh, there's nothing here that's like gluten free or that's
Right.
like yeah, sort of like very like low like things that aren't like I can't have spicy food, and like my dad, for example, like loves Indian food. So I think when I first like went away to university and was like out of the house, and he was like, all right, now we can like finally like start like ordering Indian food again and stuff like that.
Oh man.
But it's one of the things where like you have to like watch out for things that are spicy or greasy or whatever, and so
Oh my
yeah.
god, don't come to my kitchen ever. Not that I would cook anyways, because I don't want to kill you.
right.
Just because my cooking is amazing. I mean, if you're watching this, I'm a great cook.
Well, I'm sure. Well, like a lot of great food, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's the same also with like my friends who are like, oh, like you should like have like a vegetarian like lentil stew diet. I'm like, lentils are like worse for me than McDonald's. Like that's bad for me and anyone within like a 5 mile radius.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so. Now I know a lot. I learned something new. I always learn something new. That's what this show should actually be called. Anasimone learns something new because she won't open up a fucking book. But you also run a really fun comedy show. Is it a monthly or a weekly?
It's a monthly show, and I can't even. A monthly is stressful enough for me. I can't even do them weekly. Like I don't know how.
I don't know how people
Like
do this.
Natalie and Jess who run Crimson Wave, like that's impressive that they
I
can
would
do.
pass out.
Yeah. Whereas like in fact a monthly is so much that like I even took like a couple months off, and then only now like next Tuesday like I'm bringing the monthly show back again.
That's right, yeah.
And now you have 2 monthly shows.
I have 3 monthly shows.
3 monthly shows. Well,
Oh my
congrats
God.
on Funny People selling out its
Thank
first
you.
show. That's
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. That was a big mistake. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Do
well,
like 2 max and then be like, that was nice.
yeah.
And just
that-
stay at 2.
But that was like Shade was really cool. I remember when because I'd seen it like posted and stuff, and like I knew that was like a big thing. But like when I first went to see Shade, like that was really cool. Like it was a really fun show, and it's funny because like a lot of these like, not to like create divisions or whatever, but like these like non-white male like run shows tend to be like really fun because I think a lot of it's been like, oh, like where I'm like, oh right, because these are people who are like, oh, we're just like. We're used to being excluded, so we're going to be really inclusive and fun and just come and like,
Right.
have a big part. Like, Shade feels like a party where you're like watching people make you laugh and stuff. But like, it's really, yeah, it was like a lot of fun. Everyone was really hilarious and
Oh my
like,
God, thank you so much.
yeah.
Thanks. Wow. Did you hear that, folks? Straight white guy loves Shade.
Yeah.
So, got my
Yeah.
endorsement.
It's one of those things where, yeah, like, and like, it's like, there's certain shows where, yeah, like, where it's like, I'm a white male, cis hetero. So I'm part of like all of those like demographics that are like doing all the horrible things throughout history. So like certain shows, I'm like, you know what? I'm fine. I can be an audience member here and just like enjoy the party. I'll pay my $10. That's cool. Like, yeah.
Oh man, thank you for coming. So Dan's show, it's a variety show.
Yeah.
And I was on it once. And
Headlining on it. You say like you're just like I'm just on it. Like you were the headliner.
thank you so much. I don't want to. This is the boast me up kind of show. And he gives you banana bread after the show, which I thought was amazing. And I tried to incorporate it into my show, but it never happened.
Oh no. Well,
I like woke up one morning and was like, I'm gonna make banana bread. Then I was like, I'm not.
it's literally it's like the one thing I know to make. And I had a cousin who when I first met her from Vancouver, who like she was telling me like she gave me chocolate chip banana bread that her husband had made, and she's like, this is how he won me over is with baked goods. And I'm like, I'm single now. Maybe this is how I get a girlfriend. And so then I just started like making that, and then I learned only to make chocolate chip banana bread, and then never to make anything else. And then I'm like, all right, well this is like the one thing I'll do. And also like I wanted like the show, I wanted opening act Bryan Rosen to be like a cozy show. I wanted it to be something fun that's not just like an event for the audience, but like for comedians to be like, oh yeah, like that was like I had a lot of fun, a blast, and hopefully make a few bucks as well, you know, just something that would be a bit more, like interesting, and then it just being like, oh, it's just another gig to like sort of go in, do my 10 minutes, and then leave.
It was so much fun. You should all go see the show.
Mm-hmm.
When's the next one?
The next one is Tuesday, May 1st.
Tuesday, May 1st. That's like next
That's next
week.
Tuesday.
Holy
yeah.
cow, we're in May. Oh, great.
Yeah, and Niall Seguin is going to be headlining, and we've got Natalie Norman's going to be on it.
Amazing.
Camille Cote, the Utilidors, which is a sketch group, and then I'll do some attempted stand up and then do some improv.
Your stand up is fine.
Oh, thanks.
No
Thanks.
problem.
It's fun. It's funny because I consider myself more an improviser, but again, this, like I said, laziness, where I'm having to write stuff down and memorize it and get those punchlines. Yeah. But yeah, it's so it's a fun show, I think, and
I think it's a great show. I think you should all go to it. And how long have you been doing stand-up / improv?
So improv and stand-up, I started in university, so I started 14 years ago, but doing improv, and then I stopped after university for a few years. And even in university, I did a few sets of stand-up, 3 or 4, and then, but I was doing really bad, it was just I was trying to do Jerry Seinfeld-y type jokes or whatever, just doing you ever notice type stuff, and then found out actually that one joke I had about airplanes was basically ripped from a Jerry Seinfeld joke without realizing it. And I had this one joke that I had that friends of mine always tease me as being the quintessential horrible joke I had. It was on my first set I told this joke about, when I first heard about butterflies, I pictured a stick of butter with wings attached to it flying around. And that was the joke. There was no added punchline or anything like that. And then I was I should just, and I wanted to tell jokes about bowels and hemorrhoids and stuff, and then but then people were oh, that's gross, and then I'm I guess I won't. And then the last couple of years I started doing a bit more, and I told my enema story about a show I think at the Underground, and then Hisham Kaladi told me yeah, that's a good show, that's a good joke, keep working on that kind of thing, that kind of stuff. And then I was all right, I'm gonna lean into the Crohn's disease, lean into the bathroom humor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, bringing back fart jokes.
Woo!
Empowering it.
I feel like that's all I talk about. One time I did a whole set on poop, and the audience wasn't having it, and part of me was also man, I should probably change this up, but I was this is my show, we're talking about my poop, get used to it.
Yeah, for sure. And sorry,
No.
I was just gonna say because I had it's funny because once I started telling poop jokes, there'd be people who come up and be man, I once shat myself too, and they're so I didn't mean to say that while you're drinking, but yeah, it's one of those things where it was almost sort of it was a way to relate to people, because no one wants to I guess I talk about it because it poo's gross and stuff, but it's something everyone has poo problems, we all have diarrhea at some point or whatever.
Oh my god, have you heard Carol Stockley's joke about diarrhea?
No.
I feel like you would love it.
Oh no.
She has this joke where she talks about, I think it's DJ Khaled's song where he says, all I do is win.
Yeah.
She's but sometimes we have diarrhea, and it kills me every time.
Nice.
Anyways, go listen to that bit.
For
I
sure.
obviously ruined it.
But I'm a big fan
funny.
of Carol Stockley, so
She's
I'll
so
have to check her out. Yeah,
Oh my
she's
God.
hilarious.
When did you start opening act, Bryan? Is it your whole name? Or
No,
is it
just Dan Rosen,
Okay.
yeah. It's easier. I don't think it would fit on the marquee. And part of that was I was the comedy bar puts the names on the marquee. If I have my name there, if I have my name of the show, then my name will be on the marquee.
That's so smart.
It's this thing where I pretend to be really humble but then actually it's super arrogant. I'm Dan Rosen's on the marquee. And basically, so I started it last year around March or so. What happened is a couple years ago, I was trying to raise money for a short film I was making with some friends, and then I got an open spot at Comedy Bar, and then I was so I did that to raise money and had fun hosting, and then the producer of our film said you should do that more, and so then I was all right, I'll try this opening act Dan Rosen thing, and then it went well, and then so I just kept bugging Comedy Bar for a spot,
That's
bugging
amazing.
them for a spot, and then they eventually listened, and
They
then
were
they're
okay, fine.
all right, fine, we'll get you off our back, yeah.
That's sick.
It's fun.
Did you always think that you were gonna go into the world of comedy, or?
Maybe more from the writing perspective. I always wanted to write sci-fi and comedy. I've always been a big fan of, and then all of a sudden. But I guess I was always the goofball in school.
Yeah.
And then what really was something that once, more I guess incidents I racked up with Crohn's disease, and then other awkward situations in my life, and then I bet this would be some good material or whatever. And so then, and I saw also comedians who would do more almost like storytelling stand-up. So it'd be like anecdotes instead of like, oh, like men are different from women or whatever. And I'd be like, whatever. But like stuff where like Mike Birbiglia like has stuff about like that are like just like 1 hour stories about his life and like that kind of stuff I thought was really cool. And then seeing other comedians around Toronto do that as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. What did you study when you were in university?
I studied sociology because sociology is the study of society, and writers write about society, and so that was my flawless logic. And then eventually afterwards I went into film school as well. But it was like one of those things where I'm like, oh, like this has to do with like writing, I guess, like society.
That's
right?
actually really smart. That's a good way of going into university.
Thanks. It's a good way of getting my parents to support me not becoming doctors like them.
How did they take it when you were like, I'm going to go to film school?
I think they saw, I showed them a short film or something that like I made, and that they were like, all right, that's pretty good, I guess. And then that, I think, got them on board. And they were like supportive. They're very much like, whatever a kid wants to do, you know. But it was kind of thing where my mom would be like, you know, like there's like, you could also like with sociology, like it could lead to like law or like,
my mom
you know,
does
like
the
this
same
other
thing.
kind of, yeah. And my dad would always be like, you know, I know a psychiatrist who has like a band he plays in on the side. So you can always do like arts on the side while finding another thing. And he keeps telling me, he's like, you ever think of getting a trade? Like you can make a lot of money like in carpentry or like something like that. And I'll be like, I've already put too much time, like I've already spent too much time studying or going in one direction. I'm just going to like keep slugging it out in like the minimum wage arts freelance world and like,
Yeah.
yeah, and just like until I eventually get slightly above minimum wage freelance, yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's when I've made it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if I can pay my bills, I'm basically Kim Kardashian. That's,
Yeah, for sure.
Why try harder? I've
Yeah.
paid my bills.
And I mean, like you have like stuff that like other people maybe who make more money. Like I have friends of mine who they make pretty good money, but they're literally just they do like 9 to 5 job, and then like in the evenings and weekends they just do like whatever to pass the time. But like you have like a really big show at the Rivoli, and then now also you have funny people in like your third show that I didn't know about.
Super Gay Friday.
Oh, Super Gay Friday,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So you've got like those 3 big shows, like, and like also doing like a really big community thing. And like in some ways, I'd say like, at least in my eyes, I'd be like, that's more important than like my friend who like helped like engineer whatever like subway
We built
works
a like
type thing,
actual
like,
hospital.
yeah, whatever. Like I don't care about that. But like you know, like Anasimone brought the like really supporting the LGBTQ community with the comedy.
Oh my god, thank you so much. Go tell my parents.
Yeah, for
Leave
sure.
the gay stuff out though. Just be
Go
like,
ahead.
she brought together a bunch of people.
Yeah, I'll tell your parents about that, the comedy community stuff, and then you can tell my parents about it, and then that way we can like vouch for you.
Perfect. And
Perfect.
then we'll have like a huge family dinner and then be like, we're so
Absolutely.
successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I couldn't do the 9 to 5. Like I'm doing it now,
Yeah.
but it's in like a startup environment, but it's not really a startup. But I tried
Yeah.
to do the whole corporate thing, and I just don't. I like physically cannot.
Well,
I don't know if it's like an artist thing, but like, do you ever find yourself in a space where everyone's like suited up, 9 to 5, boardroom type thing?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it just feels so weird. I always like when the term like monkey suit for like like a business suit or whatever, I'm like, oh, like you're all pawns in the system, Casey. You're all just cogs. Think for yourselves, wake up, sheeple, like that kind of thing.
It's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. So
Like-
then I'll be like, I might be earning more, I'm earning less money, but I'm more spiritually fulfilled.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to compare myself to others, but I remember there was this one morning where like 2 coworkers were literally talking about grass.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not the life I want. Because there's some moments
Yeah.
where you're like, you're an artist, and like, even though I have 3 shows, it's not like I'm making money off that. Because like half the time you're like comping, paying the venue, paying your artist, or that, and whatever you come
Yeah.
out with isn't what it seems to be.
For sure.
So like the artists that do have day jobs, I think we just do it because we're like, it's a means of survival. But
Yeah.
there are days where you want to forget the hustling of being an artist, and you're like, man, I could just do the 9 to 5 thing. But then it's moments like that where 2 guys talking about grass, and you're just like,
Yeah.
it puts it into perspective for you, and you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's or like just yeah, it's stuff like that where yeah, I find like I've never had like I work as a production assistant as well. It's my day job, and so there like I've been working in an office, but then at least there, so it's a creative office. You can
Right.
dress like however you want, basically, and so like it's a lot more yeah, like relaxing and like a lot more fun. And then like every now and then like there'll be like something like goofy or silly you can do. And like they knew, my coworkers knew that I was in comedy, so like when I had to like make like every day making an afternoon snack for everyone in the office, but then like announcing it in like a silly way or whatever to be like, all right, there we go, we got like Derek got his goofy fix at least, which at least is something a bit more than just doing the a friend of mine from high school, he was like, we saw the movie Office Space, and then after that we were like, it's like, I think it was like early 90s, Jennifer Aniston's in it.
I haven't seen it.
It's like whatever.
Sorry. I was born in the early 90s.
Or it was like, it might have been like late 90s, but like still, yeah. But it was like one of those movies where like it's all about how awful working in an office is. And then like we were like, yeah, we're never going to work in an office. And he started like working towards wanting to become a film producer and stuff, and then ditched the PA thing, got like an MBA, and now he makes like tons of money, way more money than me, but he has become exactly that person who we used to make fun of like in grade 7 and 8. And
does he know that? Is he watching this?
Yeah, so Harry Sale, you're called out.
Leave your job, man. Speak your truth.
On. Yeah. I don't know, I think he's abandoned his truth. No offense, Harry.
Just dragging your friends. Oh my god. Oh god. I wish I was doing something like more like I wish production took more than like, it does take a lot of time, obviously. Yeah. But I wish, and I'm also so busy. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I wish I made more money. So for those of you who come to Shade, please pay me more. Thanks.
But have you ever thought of like is like comedy, specifically like stand up, that sort of like your main thing you're interested in, or would you like to do you audition? Do you do acting?
I don't. That's why that was like my plan. So I never thought I was going to go into comedy. How did this become about me? I'm interviewing you.
No, it's okay. I want to find out more about you too. Yeah.
I never thought I was going to go into comedy because like I had done the whole like impress my parents thing, and I went into design school,
right?
In which my mom was like, now that you're in design school, have you thought about being like an architectural lawyer? And I was like, what the fuck even is that?
Yeah.
So dropped out of that. Yeah. And then ended up pursuing comedy in the hopes that I would like go into acting.
Yeah.
And then tried to do the whole YouTube thing. I'm terrified of cameras, so I don't know how being an actress is gonna play in my favor because it needs cameras.
Yeah, but hopefully you get like that Netflix special. Like I always talk.
Oh man.
Yeah. There's I don't know if you ever watched Jesus and Marrow.
Oh my god, I fucking love that.
They're my favorite. Them and then the podcast Bodega Boys.
I haven't heard it.
Oh yeah, so it's like what they started before Jesus and Marrow, I think. Yeah, but like they're my like two favorite like talk show host guys.
They're so fucking funny.
They're absolutely hilarious. And it's funny because I think about them when I think about like your set that you did on Opening Act, Dan Rosen, because you talked about like eating ass and like eating fat and I also mentioned because I had my aunt and uncle from like rural Colorado had been up and they went to see the show and they were like, oh, that girl like at the end who was talking all about her sex stuff, like she was pretty funny kind of thing. And it was like, I was like, these people like mostly watch Hallmark shows, but they were like really into it. Like, I don't know, maybe they had an awakening, I don't know, but like Decent Mel, they talk about eating butt a lot. And like, there's one of my favorite bits is when they're talking about a Gabrielle Union interview, and she talks about how she's like pro eating butt and so on, and then they're like, whoa, Dwayne Wade totally eats butt. Like, hang on, anyhow, they're like the best, and like they have like the best interviews and that.
They're so funny. I was gonna ask you like what, because I think earlier on we were talking about various forms of pooping. I was gonna talk about how I do a bit about eating ass, but it looks like I did it on his show when I headlined. Oh my god, it's not even like I don't tell jokes, I tell stories.
Yeah.
So shout out to that guy who ate my ass.
Nice.
You are my #1 joke now.
Yeah, I mean, but it's great, like, cause like that kind of thing is like, I mean, when it's really funny and it's like also like because it's like a personal story, I find it more relatable, and that's what I found more interesting. And like I loved it when like because I saw you, I think, tell it at Shade, and then you told the next day at my show, and I was like, oh, like that's really cool. Like I was like really excited.
I was mortified when I like looked out into the audience, and I think I saw your aunt and your uncle, and I was like, oh man, they are in for a ride.
It's great because I talked to them before, because I know like my aunt was like really into like this like one Hallmark show that we had been talking about, and then I was like, just so you know, there's gonna be some like raunchy humor, and she's like, the raunchier the better. So I think it's like one of those things where like you might be like people who are like used to just like staying within their box, but then like when someone shows them like, hey, look what's over here, and then it's like, oh, actually I do like that. Why am I always like staying over here? Like, Yeah.
Sorry for tainting your family today.
No, it's great. I think like, and that's one of the things like I was like that was really great to have you. One, because like you're also really funny, but also like having like someone who like my family isn't used to hearing jokes about like like having your ass eaten out while on tour in Ottawa, I think it was. Yeah. And so it's just kind of cool, like, to like be able to show like friends of mine or like people who come to see the show, like jokes that they wouldn't normally expect to see. Because I think a lot of my friends, like, because I'm the only one, like, I went to like a business and tech high school, and then like quickly abandoned, like in the last year, I dropped all my like math and business courses to take like drama and creative writing, but they all kept with their business and tech stuff, which is why they're successful financially. But then they all, so like the comedy stuff that they know is more like, I think is more sort of like the mainstream or like run of the mill or like
right, like
that
anyone
kind of
who's
stuff.
got like a special.
Yeah, and it's funny stuff, but like it's sort of, it's nice to like then be able to be like, hey, like, or like people have never seen, like, like a gay comedian before.
Right.
And then be like, yeah, that will come to my show. Like, well, you'll see some gay comedians, you'll see some like, or like comedians who talk about stuff, that like we wouldn't, us like cis white hetero male guys wouldn't necessarily know about. And like sometimes we're like, oh, cool, like I learned something by having that person on my show.
Oh man, that was I love that show so much. You won me with the banana bread.
Thanks. That's how I try to, Oh, thanks. I try to win people that would be like, it's trying to be like my inner like grandmother / like host.
I was so excited. That was the best. That was a really good show. Oh man, I had a question for you, and it totally slipped my mind because we started talking about that eating ass story and your family, and I. Because I remember their faces. Like, if I could explain the look on their faces, they were just like, they were laughing, but they were also like, oh my god. What was wrong with this generation? I don't know. Eating ass isn't my.
But I bet like in every like the ancient Greeks must have been like doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think like every generation does, but then it's now like, oh, we can like talk about it again.
I don't know. My mom found like she found like a sketch that I wrote or something like years ago, and it was like this. It said like the word sex in it, and my mom was like, "This is so, I can't believe you're writing this." Da 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 da. She was like, "What do you talk about when you're on stage?" And I'm obviously not going to tell her. Yeah. Even though I'm a grown, I'm like, here I am talking about how I pay my bills, da da da. I'm like, but I will not tell my mom a single thing.
Yeah.
But she's so conservative, and I wonder even if like, I don't know, because do you ever wonder like where you get your, I don't know, like I always think about where I get my personality from, and I'm a very like forward like sexual kind of person, and then I look at my parents and I'm like, I'm adopted.
Yeah. I think I mean my mom definitely has like a gallows humor. Like I remember when I was being rushed to the hospital the first time I had a surgery, and like it was like this big like stabbing pain in my gut. My mom's like, what you're feeling right now is similar to like pregnancy contractions. So like when you're like your future wife is like giving birth, you can say like, hey sweetie, I know how it is, it's not that bad. And like when there was like the whole like envelope scare, like with like anthrax after 9/11, one of our neighbors, like he had like mono, and my mom kept being like, you haven't opened any like suspicious envelopes with white powder, have you? And stuff like that, like where I was like, wow, like this, I mean like, Mom, he seems to be in a lot of pain, like maybe we should like just like seriously treat him like the way you are supposed to. But like every now and then she'll bring in her like very like dark, so I think I get that dark humor from her. But then also like I haven't like come out to my parents as someone who smokes weed, for example, and then but like because my mom's like very like anti like drugs. She's like, no, like it's illegal, so it's bad, and you shouldn't do it. I'll be like, but like so many things that are legal are way worse. Like I don't drink alcohol, which is legal, but alcohol is horrible for me. Yeah.
Oh man, so you smoke weed, and your parents don't know?
I don't think so. I think like I've tried to like leave like little clues here and there.
What are you leaving?
Well, like just talking about like there's like CBD oil that's supposed to be like help with the digestion and like small doses. And actually, if you like, there's studies about like vaping marijuana or like in edibles in small amounts that it's okay and stuff like that. And I think my dad's kind of like a little bit like open to it. He's like, well, but if you do it every day, it's bad. I'm like, yeah, of course. But then like my mom is like, oh, but like I don't know, like it's wrong and like it's inconclusive and like how do you know it's like not a like controlled like medical substance kind of thing, and there's all these other like synthetic medications we have. And like it's like the one instance I'm like, but wouldn't like what's natural be better? I want like my inner hippie like to serve my drug habit.
Oh my god, when you said leave clues, I thought you literally meant like taking a gram and like sprinkling it.
Yeah, like over there, like leaving like zigzag papers at their place when I like just like, oops, I dropped this.
I've always wanted to like make edibles for my parents and like not tell them, and on a day where like they're not going out,
It's illegal.
I think that's.
I don't know, like giving them edibles.
Yeah.
But like my dad is also, you know, kind of he like they obviously don't. First of all, I am like a little pure angel to them. I have never kissed anyone. I have never have had my ass eaten. I am very straight, you know. So drugs are just that hasn't even like entered this area.
Like, well, I mean, she's a virgin, so clearly she's never done drugs.
Exactly. I am so pure.
Yeah.
But my dad has always he's kind of like mentioned it here and there, and like because of his interest, I just want to give them both like an edible and just
see, but I think that's like every kid's dream, like to be like sort of like the fantasy to like sneak edibles into your parents and be like, all right, let's see what happens.
just like a little bit. Like I know when too much is too much because that happened to me a few nights ago. I did the 420 festival.
Oh, nice.
And like for some reason, I think this is like a joke amongst the weed comics because every time I do a show that's like 420 friendly, I always get put on second last. And like I don't smoke a lot, and I like have an edible every now and then.
Yeah.
Which is like the extreme of smoking. But they always put me on like second last, so by the time I go on, I end up being really high.
Yeah.
Just from the air. And then that night they sent me home with like an edible. And I was like, well, you know,
let's keep this party going. Yeah.
And then I ate half of it, and I was like, man, nothing's happening, you know?
Yeah.
Then I had the other half, and I was like, whoa, this is way too much.
Oh, I made the exact same mistake the first time I had an edible. I was in Amsterdam, and literally so it was my first time in Amsterdam, and my friend who I was staying with, she told me and my other friend who were traveling, like, oh, like, if you do edibles, you know, like, don't have, like, two at once. Have one, like, wait a couple hours. So we took one, and then, half an hour later, we're like, we're not feeling anything. We can definitely have one more, even though we were given specific advice about it by someone who lives in this city. And then, so we had the second one, and so we're like, oh, it's been, like, an hour and a half, and we're not feeling, whoa, and then, like, all of a sudden, just like in this like giggling nonstop, and then like we had to like sit down in the shade for half an hour and just like rubbing like sunscreen into our faces for 15 minutes because we're both pasty white people, and like it was one of the and like there's that time, and then another time at a New Year's party where I made chocolate chip banana bread, but my friend Aaron, who is like an expert with weed, made like really good weed butter, but also like knows like the most potent shit known to like humankind. And we were playing like beer pong. I'm like, well, instead of drinking beer, I'll just have a piece of banana bread. And so like half a loaf of banana bread later, like then I'm almost like, oh, like I can't do anything. My brain like felt like it was like a sponge being like squeezed, and I'm like, oh, I can't even like get up from this chair. Like,
it's so weird. It's so weird how like if you have a little bit, you're like, whoa, I can do so much right now. I'm gonna clean my whole apartment. Then you have the other half, and you're like, I physically cannot move right now.
For sure, yeah. Like yesterday was my birthday, and so I.
Oh my god, happy birthday! What the heck?
I secretly took it off of Facebook because I was like, like whatever, I don't need it.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would have brought something.
Oh man, you don't need to. Being on you like promoting me and me riding in on your coattails is peasant enough.
Oh my god, guys, it's his birthday. Say happy birthday. Is anyone on live right now?
Yep, one.
What?
Well, say happy birthday.
Thanks for the birthday wishes, I assume. But so it was just kind of funny. So it was just like I was like, it's my birthday. But first I had to go to my accountant, like our family accountant, to do to file my taxes. So there I'm like, but I had like the weed brownie in my backpack, like, so I'm like, all right, as soon as like the taxes are done, and then like I leave, and so like as soon as I left, then I was like, all right, let's dig into this motherfucker, and like had like piece by piece, so on, because I was like, I still want to like have other plans. I don't want to just like spend my birthday just being like raw. But and then like so I did, and so that was like good. Like I really paced myself well with the weed. But then there's some times where like I went to like last summer, a friend of mine got me a ticket to like DJ Scratch Bastards. Like he has this big, like I guess like his birthday party in the summer, and it was a really big one. And that one where I'm like, I'm getting fucked up. Just like swallow it like a duck with like no chewing, and then.
Oh my god! And you're good to be around people when you're on an edible.
I think so. I've gotten to this zen point where like if I have like friends of mine who like I was like, all right, these are good friends of mine who like won't judge me if I'm, because like at this point I'm sort of like if I don't know you, like I don't give a fuck, like as long as like I don't like all of a sudden like get stoned and like I don't go on some horrible like racist rant, I guess, but like
oh my god,
I don't. But then like in that I'm like, oh god, I guess I have some real issues to work with myself. But like, so thankfully I don't do that. But like the worst thing I do is then like I'll just be like giggling a lot, or like I'll start sentences that I never finish, like that kind of thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it'll be like, I've gotten to a point where like I don't get paranoid anymore. Where like sometimes I'll be like, oh shit, what am I doing with my life? I've got all these things. No, it's okay. Like it'll be like these waves of sort of being like, man, like life is really intense. It's so beautiful at the same time. Like just like back and forth.
Oh my god. I had to like breathe myself out of it.
Yeah.
I also was like, you know what? I tried to time it in the sense where I was like, I'm gonna eat this edible right now. I'm gonna order a burger and a deep fried Mars bars online.
Wait, oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, like it's like you have to have like either food ready at your place or like order it, because otherwise I'm like, oh, it's raining, I don't have food at home.
But the delivery person came and like 100,000,000% knew that I was high as shit.
I'm sure
that was your order.
They were like, who's this for? And I was like, hey.
Yeah. But I'm sure like that must be like most of their clientele. Like
I don't know. It was like what I am probably.
Yeah. But like it's one of those things where at first like I've done shrooms once. And it was one of those things where like I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Like this is like, because I didn't do any drugs in high school, and like I barely drank. I was like sort of like perfect, like straight edge, like angel that my parents wanted me to be. And then like in university and afterwards is when I was like, whoa, discovering myself. And even now, like weed wasn't a big thing until like I hit like my late 20s, early 30s. But then like...
What? How old are you?
I'm 32, so I'm still in my early 30s, yeah.
Well, whatever you're doing with your skin routine, keep it up.
Not lifting a finger, and yeah. But yeah, so like so I did shrooms with a friend of mine, same friend who made the weed butter, who was like, because I was like, all right, he knows what to do, so if I like freak out and start seeing demons, he'll know like how to like calm me down. But like it was like this big like wonderful like euphoric experience, and that's when I realized like, no, I have to like follow my dreams and all that kind of stuff. And had a big epiphany, and it was just like us like jumping around in the woods for like 6 hours. It was like our little like Huck Finn day together.
I've heard that a lot of people have been like, if you take shrooms, you have to do it outdoors.
I think so, like outdoors, and like also I guess being a good mindset. But like one of the things he said, like I remember we saw like a couple, like there was like an old couple walking past us, and I was like, oh, they're probably thinking like, oh, who are those like stupid stoners who are like wasting their lives, like getting stoned on a Wednesday? And then he's like, maybe, but you know what? They probably like, most people like they may notice you for a second, they've got their own shit to worry about, so they don't even care about that. And I was like, oh yeah, so like it doesn't matter like what other people who like aren't people I care about think about me. Like if someone like, if like a good friend of mine said like, whoa, I think like you gotta like watch out what you're doing, then I'd be like, all right, like I trust this person, like they're thinking about what's good for me. But like in general, like if some like random like old person's like, stop doing drugs, yeah, and whippersnapper, I'd be like, oh, I don't give a fuck what you say, like you do your thing, I'm gonna do mine. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
I think so, yeah. And so, like, yeah, do your own thing. And, like, as, like, Jesus and Mero say, like, if you want to get your ass eaten out, then just, like, eat butt. Like, just do it.
Oh, my God, they're so funny. How much time? Oh, we have a little bit of time. I have this question that I asked, I think in the first podcast today. I don't know if I asked it in the second one. But if you were any kitchen utensil, what would you be?
That's a really good, specific, random question. I feel like I'd probably be a spoon, because I guess of like this, or at least ideally I'd be a spoon, because because like the spoons, like I mean like knives are very like stabby and violent, and I'm definitely not that. And I guess like forks, I guess, because like forks are more like, I don't know, poking and prodding. And I'm, again, like I'm the kind of person who, if this is like me really stretching the metaphor, but and I'm the kind of person who, like, if someone, like, people talk about like being roped in, like I hate being roped into something that I don't want to do, and so like I would never like prod someone else to do it. Like if I'm like, hey, do you want to come with me and like do like whatever, and then people are like, that's not for me. I'm like, all right, fine. Like it's gonna be annoying if like you know, if I make you do that thing, like you're not gonna like it, I'm not gonna like it. But like a spoon is like the supportive, like like you lift things up and like it like holds things, and like, you know, spooning is like hugging, and I like that. So I guess a spoon, that's what ideally I am a spoon.
You heard that here, folks. Dan Bryan Rosen, a spoon.
Yeah.
And one last question. What is your astrological sign?
Taurus.
Oh my god, no, oh my god, this makes so much sense. This is how we get along.
Someone said like Taurus, I guess Tauruses are what, like stubborn, because I don't know that much about astrology. So what does this make sense?
I don't know, I get along very, very well with Tauruses.
What do you do?
I'm a Scorpio, no one likes us.
Why don't people like Scorpios?
We're insane. Like, there's this saying that's like a Scorpio will never stab you in the back, like they'll stab you in the front or something.
Because of like the stinger.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I just think that means that we're honest.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was in film school, there were a bunch of like Polish students, and the Polish people I found are very like honest and like deadpan about things. So like, if like there'd be sometimes like where like I remember once I was like crashing on a friend's couch and I knocked on his door at like 3 a.m, and I was like, oh, sorry, Pavlo, I didn't mean to wake you up. He's like, you woke me up. It's okay. Come on in. That kind of thing. And so it's one of those things where it's like being like after a while I was like, oh, like, you know what, I'd rather someone just be like blunt and honest than like, you know, stab me in the back. So I'd rather someone stab me in the front, I guess.
You heard it here. He's a spoon. He likes Scorpios. So your next show is May 1st.
That's right.
And that's happening at Comedy Bar at
9:30 p.m.
9:30 p.m. Opening at Dan Rosen. And when is Game of Thrones projected to happen?
So it's first going to be in the Montreal Fringe Festival
That's
in
amazing.
June.
Congrats.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I got in the lottery. And then afterwards, I'm going to look at some point in July or something like that to find a venue in Toronto to put it on.
Awesome. And is it like a play or a comedy thing or an improv thing?
I mean, it's kind of like, it's like a theatrical one-person show, so it's kind of storytelling, kind of comedy, but there is, I guess, some like a couple like serious emotional moments, but for the most part it's pretty comedic, because I mean, like, it's a bowel disease. It's not like something like horrible. It's not like my family was like axe murdered or something like
You're
that.
like, that's another play.
That's another play. Yeah. No, it's just like, you know, it's enjoying the rocks of having bowel disease for your entire life.
Well, you heard it here. If you want to go see Game of Thrones, that'll be happening. Go get your ticket to Montreal and then go there.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being on my show.
Thanks for having me on the show. This was so much fun.
Of course, you're so much fun.
All right, you're so much fun.
Oh my God.
We're all so much fun. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad. We're going to post all his links and stuff, and you can follow him on, do you have Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter is at Dan the Guy Rosen. Instagram is at Dan the Guy Rosen. Lots of photos of me on the toilet and stuff like that. But yeah.
Amazing. Now you know where to follow him. You know where the show is. Subscribe, reshare, and do your thing. And we're done.